What is up, Hot Makers? Welcome to HotMakes right here on HotMakes, HotMakes Live, all the things. I'm Nerdy J. This, my friends, is John. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Jim?
I'm doing great. It's a great day, and it's always a good day when we get to talk to you.
Nice. Glad to hear that.
We're here live, well, kind of live. You're in the Netherlands, and full disclosure, this may or may not be live. So you guess by the end of the stream. We have a link in the description if you want to toss us some donations or anything for the channel. There's a link in the description. Also, you can find us today on both YouTube channels, I think, Facebook, Twitch, all the things. And let's see. I think we're up to like almost 750 subs or something like that on the channel, on this particular channel. So if you haven't joined the HotMakes channel, jump on that, and there will be a link in the description below. But all that aside, whoa, what?
What if we end up getting like 1,000 subscribers between now and when this episode posts?
Then I guess
silly.
Then I guess we'll find out if it's live or not.
Trying to speak it into existence, Jim.
I love it. So if there's 1,000 subscribers right now, we're in the future. We'll just say that. But yeah,
let's bring it up to 1,000. Huh?
Yeah, right. But welcome, man. It's been a long time since we had you on the show, at least a year, and we just saw you at Murph in the end of June and early July there. So welcome back.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thanks. And it was the previous studio last time we have had this. We've had a chat. So I'm in a new studio. Well, new. It's more than a year. Yeah, already more than a year that I'm in the studio. Since I think already 4 weeks, we have a second studio with all the 3D printers. So I'm not in between all printers except for this one.
Yeah.
So it's I've printed a lot of ABS lately, and for the rims. So I've printed ABS rims out of 7 kilos of ABS.
Whoa!
And that was in this room. And as you know, that ABS isn't the most healthy stuff, so I might have a bit of brain damage, but so it was a good thing to have all the stuff over there with the noise, and to have finally a clean environment where I can showcase my projects and also do some editing, and not constantly having printers in the background and
not having the noise.
So that's nice.
Well, it's awesome that we've watched some videos about the new studio where you moved your printers in. Or actually, I think maybe you showed it on Twitter. I think you had both, didn't you?
Both, yeah. I have
both. I think you posted a video about it too.
Yeah.
And then
made a video about a monitor stand, and I've shown
that's
that.
right.
That
was awesome, by the way. I was thinking I might have to take that. Last time we talked, man, it was so long ago. We were talking about, I believe we were talking about the camera
slider.
The slider. There we go. I'm looking at my slider. It's sitting right here. And I'm like, I just lost the name of the dang thing. It's called slider. But yeah, you had that sweet camera slider. And I think it like went around and all sorts of crazy stuff.
It was a camera slider that runs on Clipper. And it was more like, it was also because of Thomas Sandlader. He made a video about the Voron, and everyone was spamming him that he must use a Clipper. And it was more of a joke to misuse Clipper for a camera slider. And there was some guy who was talking about how's it called? Then you can reduce vibrations. To use that's what Clipper can do. You can mount a G sensor and reduce vibrations. To do that with the camera slider and get extra smooth. But I think that's interesting, but Input Shaper, that's the name. Input Shaper on a camera slider. But
that would be crazy. So I envision the top of your new studio has like tracks all around it, so you can like drive your slider around the whole studio. No, that'd be pretty cool.
Well, there is a truss full of stuff, so it looks studio-like, but it must be
right.
Could be. Yeah, there's room enough here. Good idea.
That would be. It's like a train. It just drives around your studio, and then you tell it points
And
to
it
shoot.
also makes
Yeah. It tracks you as it goes around. No, that was a really cool video you put out. I mean, that was, like I said, over a year ago, and the camera slider was awesome. Now you're working on some new stuff. Before we get into that, though, I gotta ask you before we go any further. How was your visit to the U.S. for Murph? I think you had I mean, when I saw you, you were having a lot of fun. So
it was awesome, and it was for me the first time in the States. And what I especially liked is that I'm a huge fan of the Blues Brothers, and when I arrived at the airport in Chicago, I took the train to the city center. And while I was in the train, I was, wait a minute, everything looks familiar. And I asked a couple of days later, is the Blues Brothers perhaps recorded here? Yeah, it was in Chicago. Oh, okay. I was convinced that it was, and for me, it's like being in a movie set, because the only thing I've seen from the States is the movies. And most movies I watch are from the States. So it felt weird for me to see how everything looks. You have the train on top of the roads, and all your electrical wiring is in the air. We have everything in the ground, so everything looks different, and that was interesting.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Gary's on it.
I really enjoyed it. It was, and even we were in a very small town. What was the name again?
Goshen, Indiana.
Goshen, yeah. But it was weird to see that everything has a drive-through, and no sidewalks. So it everything.
And did you see any of the Amish buggies?
No, I haven't.
Driving on the road.
Talk to me about them. I haven't seen them.
Yeah, we'll have to get you back so we can take you in the country. Usually you see those everywhere. I know. What was it? Was it Friday night? I think it was Friday night when we all ended up at the Wings Etc. I think is what it was called. And I know hours before you and Stefan were like, we're gonna go get food. And then you showed up like 2 hours later at the Wings Etc. And you're like, yeah, they didn't have food, but we found the drinks. And I think, didn't Stefan order like 3,000 wings or something? He ordered like this monster pile of wings.
Yeah, it was this the American size wings. He didn't order that, but he got that. So it was like a miscommunication there. And it was the poor Stefan with his pile of wings, and he wasn't that hungry, and he wanted to throw away it's the food. So it was man. And also the beers, like, well, do one beer and I expect a beer, but you get a beer.
Yeah,
everything.
Wings Etc. was different. I ordered we'll call it a Guinness. I did order a Guinness, and I was expecting a pint of Guinness, and it came out in that big cup, and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. If Sam Prentice is watching, it was a Coke. I promise it wasn't a Guinness. We call Cokes Guinness sometimes in the US. No. But it was a lot of fun. It looked like you were having a blast at the event. You saw a ton of cool stuff, right?
Definitely, yeah. And it was a blast to be together there with Stefan, and also meet lots of guys that I know from YouTube, like Chuck and Brian and Pooch, of course. So it was fun to meet everyone, and especially it was very welcoming. And I was like 5 meters in on the first day, and it was already, hey, John, and I definitely didn't expect that. So that was very cool.
Yeah, there was a lot of people like super excited to talk to you, super excited to meet you in person. I think Stefan was filming, and there was this little kid who really wanted to meet him, and he's like, but he's filming, I'll find it. I was like, come on over here. I was like, hey, Stefan, real quick, this little guy really wants to meet you. And he turned around and he was super nice to the little kid. And cool. But that's how most people are in the community. And Murph is like a big get together with a bunch of friends, and we all bring cool stuff, and then we admire everybody's cool stuff. and the community, I mean, even like getting to meet the people that, like you said, we don't get to see on a normal basis or almost ever in person. That's such a fun time.
Definitely, yeah, it was awesome. So I'm really looking forward to Earth.
Yeah.
So that's in 3 weeks already.
Yeah. Are you coming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I didn't know you were coming.
And I also bring a present surprise.
Ooh.
A pleasant surprise.
A
I'm
surprise?
going to bring a lot of food that American people really like and can only be bought. It's typically Dutch, and it's
Okay.
not drop. It's not licorice.
Gotcha. Ooh,
So I'm going together with Max and Renee from Drop Effect. Now Fetus by now. So we're traveling together, and I'm at his booth, and we're going to have an awesome time.
That is going to be awesome. Actually, I have the Drop Effect extruder hot ended right over here, so I need to get that on a printer and start playing with it.
Extreme gradient. Yeah. I haven't tried it yet, but I also have it, and it looks very good. So
it looks pretty awesome. I need to get it on something. That's going to be so much cool. I'll be there as well. I'm super pumped to hang out in a completely different part of the country. Earth is a different event, but it's so much fun as well. It's we're going to have a blast. It'll be 2 weeks or something from now, and and that'll be it'll be a lot of fun. So maybe we'll have to get some footage, or I'm thinking about doing like a live HotMakes and just like walking around the event if I can get good Wi-Fi. It's at the college, so it should be good Wi-Fi.
Well, better than in Goshen.
That would be awesome. Yeah, everybody's happy for that. So excited to see you in a couple weeks at Earth. That's going to be a lot of fun. I know a lot of fun people. Joe Making Breaks. Wow, I can't even say his name. Making Breaks is coming. I know Sam Prentice is coming. I know a bunch of people are gonna be there, of course, and so it's gonna be fun to meet a lot of people, and then you get to meet different people too. Like I said, different part of the country, so different people can actually travel there. It'll be a lot of fun. One of the cool things about the community is we need to talk about this. So this is a thing. This is a thing. This print came out. This print came out, and I chatted immediately. The first person I saw this printed, I was like, "Is that John?" I'm pretty sure that's John. Let's see if I can scroll in. We can kinda. I'm pretty sure they modeled this after you.
Yeah, it's you can see a bit of the resemblance.
So ever since this has come out, like everybody's tagging you in these things. How do you feel about that? Like, what's your thoughts?
I think it's awesome. I think the model itself is awesome. So, and the first I was tagged on Instagram first, and I was like, oh, that looks sick. I didn't know it existed, but the model itself looked sick, and that people see the resemblance was I was very happy with that. So, and especially when Fixum Dude placed it, he did it quite very well within my profile picture.
He started popping it in your profile picture, and I gotta tell you, I joined the hype train. This is my version. Nice. I didn't have a color that would match your hair, but I thought the Pruchiment, the Galaxy Black. You got the sparkle. It's kind of hard to see the sparkle in this, but I jumped on the train, and I have to say this is
dual color version.
There's not.
This looks sick.
I actually right. I actually painted this and printed it on one of the bamboo X1 carbons. So this was 16 hours. It was fast, and I blew it up. I think this is 150% of the original model, but now I have my own. I'm gonna set it on the shelves, so every video I'm in, you're gonna be in, or
nice
the model. But awesome. I'm super pumped how this came out, though. I'm actually the last print I have, actually just finished now. The stand let me get out of there. There you go. So the stand just finished.
That is ridiculously cool.
Yeah, I love this print. And I need to find before the episode's done, or at least when I tag this on Twitter, because I haven't shown this anywhere yet. This is first.
Nice.
So I'm gonna tag the actual maker, and I totally forgot. I apologize. I forgot the maker's name on that, but
Rochi Studios.
Yes, there you go. And I figured you know it. You've seen this 100 times now, right? But he has a stand, and the stand just finished over here. So after that, I'm gonna pop it on the stand. We're gonna get going. But I love the Galaxy Black, turned out good. Oh yeah, and this is I think you got some of this too. I don't know about this color. This is the Filament Matte White.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
so good. I love that.
It's great for like a bone finish. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think and it printed it really good. It was super fast. Those the X1 Carbon really took multicolor to a different level for a lot of people. There's no messing around. You paint it, you hit print, and most of the time you get something pretty awesome out of it.
So Jim, are you calling John a bonehead?
Bonehead. I love it.
Yeah.
So the next thing I wanted to talk to you about, of course, is this. You just put a video out on this. I know no spoilers, right?
No spoilers.
But can we talk about this? I know this is just got released by the time this video airs, right?
Yes, if everything goes well, because this is by far the toughest edit I've made. I'm currently working on the video. I've done the video, but this is the rig, and it uses a big 3-tech board with only 2 drivers. And the idea behind this is that you can put an extruder at the opposite ends and let them do a tug-of-war against each other and see which extruder is the strongest. And the reason why I'm doing this, besides that it's just awesome and I think it's fun to see which extruder will outperform which, is to test out my own extruder. I think this is a fun test to see, how does the extruder I designed compare to the extruders on the market already. And also for the upcoming projects, because I've got an Optimus P13 printer, which is quite large. It has a build volume of 60 by 60 centimeters and 1.10 meters high.
Wow.
And that's for the upcoming larger projects with the rim and the guitar. And I want the best extruder for that printers because it must push a lot of filament through. So of course this is a different setting than what extruders normally do, because extruders push filament and now they're pulling, but it's a fun way to see which extruder is the strongest. And I've got 8 extruders. One of them is this proper extruder, and several different ones, and also a couple of well-known ones. For instance, the E3D V6, the Hemera, and the Revo Hemera XS. So that's the smallest extruder, by the way. So, and from Bondtech, Micro Swiss, we have the drop effect, and Dice Extruder Pro. So we've got a couple of interesting extruders competing against each other. And this rig is controlled by a simple application that I've made in LabVIEW, because it sounds easier than you would think to control 2 extruders simultaneously. I thought it would be easy, just add an extra stepper and just hit start. But normally you select the extruder. It's just what I've done, what I've shown you in the previous time that we've talked. That was about the rocker.
Right.
So you have 2 extruders, you can swap between them.
Sure.
But normally you select a tool, so you say T0 or T1, and then your printer goes through whatever it has, whatever the firmware says, how it has to swap between extruders.
Okay.
And then all commands will be done with that extruder, but not both of them. So fortunately, Marlin has a feature called mixing extruders, and then you basically make a virtual extruder. Let's call it Extruder 5, and so it's
Sure.
tool 5, and you assign those two extruders to that virtual extruder, and it acts as one extruder, and you only have to give a ratio. So if you say it's a ratio of 0.5, then both extruders rotate as fast, equally as fast.
That's cool.
But the difficulty is that each extruder has a different E-step value.
Sure.
So within the software, I made some calculations to change the E-step value to a ratio. So both extruders, if you say move 100 millimeters, then they do it both simultaneously.
That's awesome.
In the opposite direction, and
So
we just hit start.
So in your
and they
testing, you
rotate
have to get
themselves.
the E-steps for each extruder anyway.
Yeah.
And then what we're seeing here, a picture of this, I kind of blew it up. This is kind of a tug of war. I don't, like I said, no spoilers. If you want to see what happens, you have to watch the video. But
Yeah.
I see the little flag, like we'll call it a flag or an arrow hanging in the center there. And this is like a tug of war between multiple extruders. And in the video, you're going to tell us who won, right?
Yeah, and we turned this into an event.
Sure.
It's the Tug of Extruder War 2022. Maybe there will be a 2023, so therefore we put the year in there.
So good.
And when we started, we went all in. Daniel, my companion, and I, we were working on this, and at first we weren't that happy with the result, how it looks. It was just
Sure.
a bit meh. And okay, we went to the store, bought extra lights and everything, and just made a complete full setup. It's within the Optimus P1, by the way. That's the stage, so it's like a large glass plate with this thing in the center. And there are lights, spotlights, blue spotlights on top and in the back, and you can see it a bit in that picture. But we have just slapped in a lot of lights, and I found a white canvas just used for paintings.
Sure.
And that fitted snugly. And I had an old beamer, and we used the beamer to project on the back, we can show the countdown and the splashes and everything.
A beamer in the US we call projector, right? Same thing.
Oh, projector, yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe you put a BMW behind it, and no. That's awesome.
The beamer, projector, yeah. Of course. You don't call it a beamer?
Projector.
But
yeah.
And it was
a beamer
eventually it started. We needed to go all in order for this to make this work. And it's a tough edit because I have to edit like a lot of cheering from the audience. We are in an event, so I have to make the audience react to what you see on the screen. And Daniel and I are inside of a 3D printed basket, and that's all the whole green screen stuff.
It's so good. But don't spoil too much. They have to watch it.
No.
They have to watch. We'll put the video link in the description below. And I'm telling you, the time you put into videos, I mean, just all these extra thoughts that you're putting into these videos, the time, it's awesome. And your edits are always great. Your videos are, I'm super excited for this one. I hope it gains a ton of more traction, and I can't wait for everybody else to see what happens in the video. Like I said, we'll put the link in the description. That way you can click after HotMakes.
Awesome.
After HotMakes, go watch his video. But what's cool is, like, did you just come up with this? It's like, I'm going to do a tug of war today.
That was the idea is, I don't know. It just came spontaneously to mind, and I went to a 3D meetup in Sweden. That was in March.
Okay.
And I met E3D and Bontek. Both were there. And I already had that idea, and I discussed it with them, and they were like very enthusiastic about it.
Nice.
And now, okay, this is what we are going to make this happen. But yeah, it was kind of random. Most of my ideas are just like, out of the blue. So
it's so
this is one of
good.
them.
It's just such a cool idea, and Stefan and Thomas or Tom, they always have some really awesome things. Stefan's videos are always like next level as well, as far as all the testing he does. And what I like about yours are so mechanical. I mean, I would have never thought of, let's do a tug-of-war. I mean, that's this genius. And the fact that you're using literally the build plate of a printer because it's so big to film this all on.
You can see both rods on the
so
sides.
good.
It looks, and the gantry itself, we used that as the X gantry as truss. So we put on the lights on the X gantry, and it looks very, very real.
It looks great. It looks great. And then in this you were talking about what are we at time wise? Okay, cool. In this you were talking about your extruder, and Stefan took a really awesome picture. He a little while back he got it in. This is an awesome picture of it. Can we talk a little bit about this, because you made some cool videos, but I want to know like what went into this. What are your thoughts of it, like in person?
Yeah. Okay. Well, this I'm glad you mentioned this, because what I often forget is to explain the why behind stuff that I show. So, and that's what I've also seen with this extruder, that I forgot to say the why, and therefore I got a lot of questions about why. But this is quite. It's not. This thing wasn't meant to be an extruder. That's the funny thing about it. Also, the shape. The shape was different. It's. I'm quite happy that it's a heart shape, so it looks like a steampunk heart.
Yeah.
But at first I didn't design it like that, but eventually, well, it just turned out like this. And I think because this is the vital part of a 3D printer, it looks like, well, a nice shape to be for a heart. But well, at first the initial idea was that I wanted to know if timing belts would be capable of pushing filament. So that was the only thing that I explained. But this thing is also capable of pushing thin wire. So what I want to achieve with this is to finally get continuous fiber printing to the consumer 3D printer. And I think this is an interesting platform to do that with. And well, because I've designed this extruder, I have the drawings as well, so I can modify it and tailor it to get this technique to work. And that's why this extruder basically goes together with this one. This is a peristaltic pump. And I've made a video, I think 2 months ago, about FDM resin printing. And that uses a peristaltic pump. And together with, I have here on this printer, with two laser units.
Oh, wow.
And the idea is that this peristaltic pump will pump the resin through this nozzle, and just like an FDM printer, just places down the resin,
right?
And this is for curing. The technique itself isn't new. Massive Hit has a similar system that Joel has made an interesting video with that, and you've probably seen it with NPH. But I want to combine the two, and that's why this shape, well, it fits quite well with this extruder in the middle.
Yeah.
And I got several comments about, okay, congratulations. So you managed to have the worst of both worlds combined on one printer. So all the mess of resin, the not dimensional accuracy of FDM. But with resin and this thing, the idea is to have the fiber through here and infuse that with the resin, and that way have a continuous fiber infused resin print to make strong prints.
Wow.
and just start experimenting with it, what the possibilities are. So this would be the whole package. Well,
That's cool.
2/3 of the package. Because what I want to do in the upcoming projects is to find out what experimental ways of printing as strong as possible. So maybe continuous fiber with certain types of resin could be interesting, but I also want to try and instead of resin use pastes, for instance, dissolved polymers. So you can dissolve ABS with acetone and maybe use that with an infused fiber, or only use the dissolved polymers between the layers to see if that increases the strength. CNC Kitchen made an interesting video about that quite recently. So it will be a combination of 3 techniques. The third is standard 3D printing, so paste printing, continuous fiber printing, and standard printing, and see which combination of the 3 gives interesting results. And it doesn't need to be strength. What also could be interesting is for paste is to use ceramics. So if you have a 3D print and you want to make it heavier, you can just use a paste pump and use the ceramics as infill, for instance.
Yeah.
That
would be interesting. Yeah.
Or for food printing, for instance, if you have a pancake printer, normally you have the syringe, but you have to refill that syringe constantly.
Sure.
And with the peristaltic pump, you can have a can on the side of your printer, just fill it up with the pancake stuff and let this thing pump. And you can also refill it during the print. So what I hope to achieve is have a platform which works with these 3 techniques, and just go experimenting. What can we do today? What will happen if we put concrete in the circumference of the print, for instance? And
that's awesome. That's going to be an awesome Frankenstein of I don't even know, like, of a print. When you get the first one, like, with everything in it at one time, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And it's
I think we were joking
itself aren't they do exist, but they are on an industrial scale.
Sure.
And what I've seen, because that's something. It's mostly separate. But you have printers. There are printers which have the continuous fiber printing and resin, and also what I also try to achieve with this is to instead of fibers print copper wire. So this is quite a long story. This wouldn't fit in this video. But I work at an electronics manufacturer, and we do some research regarding 3D printed electronics, and we work together with Philips, for instance.
Okay.
And what I've seen in the industry is that these techniques they do exist, but on an industrial scale, and these printers, they are very expensive. So for a company, it's especially like Philips, it's not a problem to buy a printer which costs like 100K. But the problem is that the company buys that printer to use it and not to experiment with the printer itself. They use it as a tool and start experimenting with what the tool can do. But what I think with trying to get these techniques to a consumer printer is that the consumer itself will be capable of experimenting with the tool, and I think that this can lead to interesting results which otherwise would take much longer. So that's a bit of, in a nutshell, the story behind this extruder.
No, it's going to be super cool. I cannot wait to see where that goes. And I think in what was it, your last video or one of your last videos, you were playing and talking with the laser, right? And and I know CNC Kitchen, Stefan just did, like you said, the video with the prints where he put like solvent, or I think it was one was like acetone, I think it was isopropyl alcohol, or I think he tried both between each layer. And I know at Murph we were joking around because Joel broke his Death Racer so many times. It was like probably 20% 3D gloop. And we were joking around about a printer that like put gloop between each layer. Like it was printing and then gloop and then printing and then gloop. And I cannot remember if you were around when we were joking about that, but I'm pretty sure Stefan
No,
was.
but I've talked to now from 3D Gloop. I forgot his
great.
name.
Now I'm gonna forget his name all of a sudden now too. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. All of a sudden, I just lost it.
I've talked to Andrew. Andrew
Yeah,
from
there you
3D
go,
Gloop.
Andrew.
And I've pitched this idea of the peristaltic pump and used 3D Gloop in between the layers. So
maybe we were talking about it.
Spoiler alert! But we are going to do some
Nice.
research on that subject. And
that'll be fun.
I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah. I'm so curious if the print. Well, maybe it will even become stronger between the layers. So it would be fun if the Z strength will be higher than the X and Y. But who knows?
It's very possible. The other thing that could happen is it could cure while it's printing. The gloop could cure too fast and just clog the heck out of your nozzle, right? Theoretically, yeah. I mean, if it was putting gloop and filament in at the same time, maybe you're okay. If you did like Stefan did and did a layer and then print and then a layer and then print, that might cure a little too quick and you might have some issues.
Yeah. But yeah, failure is always an option, and we're just going to figure it out.
And it'll be glorious no matter what.
That's the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I can't wait to see that. What you're working on now, the video, you just came out with a tug-of-war. Like I said, check that out in the description because you want to see it. You want to see the winner of that one. John put a ton of time into that, especially. I just you got to check it out to see it. But yeah, we have some. What do we got here? We got about 38 minutes in. We have some more time. So what's next what's next besides
there are two things.
What's next that you can talk about? Yeah.
Okay. This is the plan for 2023.
The plan.
It's including this extruder.
Sure.
We have part of the 2023 is what I just told.
Sure.
But once you have the technique, you want to apply it, of course.
Sure.
So I've got the very first attempt that kind of failed. This is the still the stuff and gunk from the first tries on here. So this was the 3D printed rim, and I've designed this with generative design, but this wasn't strong enough. This immediately failed, and Daniel and I we have made a second rim, and as we speak, it's still under that Mercedes, and it just holds the weight of that Mercedes.
Wow!
But we want to take a step further. Yeah, it's quite insane. It's like, the Mercedes, the ABS, the anti-blockage system was defect, but we have added ABS. But the but it's so fun to see the have a plastic rim under that Mercedes. So that's more beefy than this one. I couldn't bring that one with me because I want to keep it under that Mercedes as long as possible to see what it will do over time. But we had some issues with inflating the tire. So we've used an inner tube. I got several comments saying that, it's very dangerous to use air. I wasn't that worried, and we've also tried and see at which point it actually failed, and it was 5 bars. I don't know what's that in PSI, but it's more than twice the normal air pressure of a tire. And we are still alive, so it wasn't that kind of a problem. But we want to take it one step further and see if it would be possible to make an airless tire. And that's what we want to do with the Optimus P1. The thing is just large enough to print a rim together with an airless tire. And we want to do that out of one material. So with just one nozzle, one material, and see if it would be possible to have to make it rigid. The rim, the rim itself rigid.
Sure.
But how do you call this? I got several comments about saying that only this is the rim, this circumference, and this whole thing is called a wheel. So in the Netherlands, we have a specific word for this, velg, but it seems like in America, you don't have a specific word for this and call this a wheel. So I was wondering, how do you call a wheel without a tire?
I would call that a rim.
I'd call it a rim or a wheel. Yeah.
But I've noticed that
it's only the circumference that this is the rim.
What was that, Gary?
I've noticed that people use them interchangeably. So like, even though I think technically that's a rim, and then you've got a tire, and then a rim plus a tire is a wheel. I've heard a lot of people refer to rims as wheels.
Yeah, I would use them interchangeably as well. To me, that's a wheel, a rim, whatever. If I get new rims for my car, it looks like that, right? It doesn't have a tire on it.
You aren't going to buy this separately, I reckon.
No, well, I mean, maybe they make interchangeable ones, but no, I think you're right. Yeah, I would call that a rim or a wheel. I mean, it's like, look, I got wheels, or hey, I got new rims. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So quit commenting on John's.
Speaking, but I was afraid that if I was saying I made 3D printed wheels, then people would assume that there was a tire around it, and I would rather over deliver than under deliver. But if we make the LS tires, then I can actually call it a wheel because, well, there is a tire as well around it.
Sure.
So that's what we are going to try next year, and it could be interesting because I think I can talk already about this with I've talked to this about with Andrew from 3D Gloop to see if it would be what can you do to make the material soft. So you have the rim itself must be rigid, the tire must be soft. And I've seen a post on Reddit, and he was a guy who uses he used PETG. And dissolved, well, not dissolved. He placed that in MEK. So methyl ethyl ketone. It looks a bit like acetone, but it's a better solvent. But it doesn't dissolve the PETG, but the MEK goes in between the molecules of the PETG, and it will it starts to feel like a TPU, so it becomes soft.
Interesting.
So it's like a plasticizer for PETG. But the problem with MEK is that it leaches out quite fast. I've tried it here, and in around a month, everything was leached out, so it was back to the standard rigid. So we are going to find out. Maybe we can use the MEK as a sort of transportation system for the plasticizer, so we can make the rim soft.
Sure.
And that's something that we are going to not to investigate. If that would be possible. The plan B is to just use MEK and have a soft rim for around a month. That should buy us enough time to make a video. But it would be nice if it can be a permanent solution.
And then next you got to print your own tires. I mean, that's your
and imagine this because we want to do it with PETG.
Sure.
You have the natural color of PETG is transparent.
Sure.
So imagine an old Mercedes with 3D printed wheels and the tire itself with transparent PETG and just RGB the heck out of it, just like I did with. So I think that would look swag as it can be to have like these four wheels that. So maybe you can use that as an indicator if you go to left and right. So I have an orange wheel like blinking.
Your tires are blinking on each side. Yeah. You step on the brakes and your tires light up red. Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be so good.
So that's
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that.
And it's going to be quite tough, but PETG is easy to print in ABS. And we've already managed to print the rims out of ABS. So hopefully PETG is going to work. And eventually, this idea which I just told about with the extruder, continuous fiber printing, paste extruder, and everything. Hopefully, those two ideas will go together. We have made a whole bracket, a schematic of all the steps that we have to do.
Nice.
And the last block is called Epic, and that's where both ideas come together. And what an interesting thing about resins is that there is rigid resin and there's also flexible resin.
Right.
But if you combine the two, then you get the properties in between. So within this whole story about all the extruders and everything, would be cool to add a second pump, a second resin pump. So have two peristaltic pumps next to each other, and you can play and modify the rigidity,
the ratio
of the print. Yeah, and that's where the mixing extruders comes in handy. So therefore,
that's so cool.
This idea is like a start of how to use mixing extruders. And then we can hopefully use the continuous fiber and rigid resin for the rim itself, and have the tire with flexible resins. And
nice.
the if everything works, I don't think I will get that far, but it's nice to have sure. You can dream and have a big goal.
Yeah.
To also incorporate the 3D printed electronics and have the LEDs that we just talked about embedded into the
embedded in. Oh man,
and use transparent resins.
That would be awesome.
So
have you seen those?
Going to work on the.
That would be awesome. Have you seen those LEDs that work with the wireless conductive pads? So they're like wireless LEDs, but when they get near like it kind of looks like it's a field, right? And when they're in that field in that area, they actually light up. It would be sweet to have it. I mean, because it's in a tire, it would be kind of tricky. Yeah, maybe not that tricky, but maybe try to have the LEDs in there. But if your tire was within that field, or you made that field in the rim or something, then you could do those LEDs wirelessly wherever you wanted.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Random idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no problem. I was thinking, well, the tire itself is also rotating, so maybe you can generate power for the LEDs.
This is there you go. Kind of like a kinetic watch.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. Yeah, they can use kinetic power to power the LEDs in the tire. Oh man, we're going down this rabbit hole. This would be too much fun.
Yeah, this is going to be And we just have to start somewhere just with this idea, and maybe it fails after the third video, and then we go like, oh well, that was fun, and we just go on. Who knows? But we just keep trying, and we're not afraid of failing. We will, and also the community helps a lot with bringing up ideas, and so that's what I like about this community, is the openness and sharing of ideas, and together we can create very interesting things.
Right. And you don't learn if you don't fail. So you got to fail. Yeah. You got to learn, and it pushes you forward. If you don't fail,
then you haven't tried hard enough.
Right. Well, I tell you what. Let's check out some of. I got a few HotMakes today. I don't have a ton, but I have a few, and I bet you there was definitely some failures in printing some of this stuff too. Ladies and gentlemen, let's do some HotMakes. All right. The first one comes to us from Neil 3D Prints. Neil, this is a new little city released to patrons. Only 4 left to design until the whole map is complete. So let me just blow this up. He's making for his patrons, right? Man. He's put together a whole city here, and it's all printed. And it looks just a ton of work. A ton of work has gone into this, right?
Is this hand painted or is this multicolor print?
I believe it's all printed, multicolor.
Yeah, he said it was all printed, but no MMU. Separate pieces.
It's all, Wow. That's a lot of printing, especially. I like Goggle. We got Goggle right in the middle, you know. little caravans. He's given all these buildings names. That's awesome. Monster trucks. He's got boats in here and a little. Oh, it's such a cool idea. And I tell you,
yeah,
a ton of printing and probably a lot of fun to play with.
this looks awesome.
It's a lot of time. That is a lot of time they got in that.
I just want to shrink down to a tiny size and explore the city.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, I bet these have 3D printed wheels. No.
Yeah.
It's John's design. It's right there. I see him.
We need to print a giant city that's scaled to the wheels.
Ooh, right. Giant skitty scaled to the wheels. I love it. I just all the cool stuff. It looks like he has over here like an observatory.
What was that word? What was that?
Yeah. I said observatory. I think I definitely botched that word pretty good. If my wife is watching, she's adding it to the list of weird things I said.
Long list.
It is a long list. Hey, look, wait. Prusa Research is in there. Right here. Yeah. But
it's
such
like
cool.
one of these posters that the longer you look at it, the more you see.
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's a rocket back here.
Yeah, space shuttle. That's cool.
Yeah, the space shuttle way up here.
Oh, there's a little Mario course in the back right corner.
Oh yeah, yeah. Is that a castle? Oh, it has the pipe here.
Yeah, the warp pipe and the flag and everything. That's cool.
See. Does it get closer to it? Oh, so check out if you guys want to play with this. Check out the Patreon for Neil 3D Prints, and such a cool idea. A lot of time into that.
Yeah,
it looks really deep too. I don't know if you noticed that, but there's like a I thought maybe they were just like little panels, like Settlers of Catan or whatever it is. But no, they're like standing up quite a bit.
Yeah, and not only that, but either he has it on something to give that effect, or I'm not sure if there's printed like that. But they're all puzzle pieces, right? So you can reconfigure your whole city any way you want.
I bet the reason it's standing up, why the pieces are so thick, is probably for some of the mechanics, for some of the moving parts. Because if they were just flat ground pieces, you probably wouldn't have enough room to make those work.
That's true. I need more. We need more. All right, what's next here? Kit. New 3D printed action figures. These are pretty cool. We've been seeing a lot of these from Kit. There you go. So that's pretty fun. He made some 3D printed action figures. He's done, if I remember right, Kit has done a ton of these. And why not? If you can 3D print and you can model, just do it.
Yeah. It's awesome that you can model things like these. That I'm so bad at modeling. I'm used to CAD design, but once I start modeling, it's just like no, not at all what I had in mind.
I'm bad at both, so there's that. For me, this would have been a stick figure. All right, what do we got? Lightspeed. Lightspeed was talking about his Voron V2 or V2.4 R2 with the stealth burner. This is a pretty sick print. It looks great. Yeah. Have you played with Voron yet?
No, I have my Voron 0.1 package here that one of my kind Patreon supporters sent to me to play around with. And I was making it myself way too difficult because I wanted to print all parts out of polycarbonate. Solid polycarbonate, polycarbonate and salt remelted, just like Stefan did. But salt remelting polycarbonate is not the easiest thing to do. So now the project itself is still on the list.
it's there. That I haven't done one either myself. Maybe Earth. Maybe we'll see Jason. Excuse me, my eyes are watering here tonight. Maybe Jason, from LDL will have some kits again at Murph. I might, or at Earth. I'm sorry. I might have to pick one up. I missed it. I missed him on Sunday at Murph. He had some kits hiding under his table, I think. And I was like, I might snag one of these. By the time I got around saying goodbye to everybody, he was already gone. But all right, what do we got next? 3D Print Bunny, man. I don't know if you've seen much of her stuff.
I've seen this one.
Yeah, this is crazy, and I will show the final result in a second here. But this is obviously a checking it out on Prusa Slicer. And this is pretty cool. Pretty cool. If we jump into here,
If she
there
need
we
help,
go.
like at what point is it going too far with the bridging? You know?
Can you? I don't know. I'm not sure if you can, but this looks gorgeous. That's an even crazier view. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of things that she designed, and it's mind blowing the way it looks
and the way it prints. I mean, it still has to print.
Yeah.
How does it stick to the bed? Where's this? Like you have to bridge between structure. Where's the structure? My brain doesn't understand this.
I think we need to go and find this and slice it. And yeah, she's cool. It's totally crazy. And looks like on the 20s, where are we at here? Last year, she posted a guide. Oh, this was when she was doing her tensegrity stuff. Oh, naturally, this is a pinned tweet. Maybe I should look at that first. But the tensegrity stuff she did was really cool too. This is how it kind of all started. Then, like now, every week it's something new, to show with her, and
that's very cool.
It's crazy. All right, what else we got? One last thing. Oh yeah, I had to show this. So, this is not 3D printed related, and
are we looking at the doors of the guy?
Yeah, the doors. I think. This is the new doors to John's shop. He's just gonna be like. I've seen doors like this before. This is just so cool, though.
Yeah. It never gets old. I've seen this before as well, but it's always fun to see it again.
Oh, it's
Has someone already printed this mechanic?
I believe I've seen this printed. Now I think we featured it here on an episode. I mean, this is
printed.
What
Maybe
episode are we on? I don't even
there's
know.
like some doors that somebody built in their house like this before, but I don't know that it was printed.
Oh, maybe you're right. Now I'm gonna have to dig that up. We're gonna have to find out, because I think it would be really fun to print this, especially like who needs to do this? Clock Spring. Sven needs to jump in here and model this, because this would be an amazing Clock Spring design. I could just see him doing this.
Yeah. Yeah. He would be the perfect guy for this.
Yeah. I just love the motion. It's and the guy in the background, he's just like all casual about it. He's just like, I'll step back over here. I love it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, hang on. Yeah, there you go. There's a new GIF for everybody. Or is it GIF? GIF?
Don't even.
Well, that was our hot makes for the night.
Nice.
Man, a lot of fun stuff, and let me just pull up. I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So what do we got? What do we got coming up? Real quick, some announcements. Hey, we have some announcements. Should we hit that bumper? We haven't done that one in a minute. Let's do it.
Sure, hang on. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, listen up, everybody. Turn up your volumes. Announcement.
Attention, we have an announcement. Attention, we have an announcement. Yes, Mom. Yeah, okay. Mom, I'm doing a thing.
Mom, I'm doing a thing. The meatloaf! Ma! Oh, sorry. Anyways, what do we got coming up? Let's see. Next week, I think Sam Prentice, maybe Nick from Polymaker will be on. We're going to be talking about Earth. We're doing another. What are we calling them now? I'm trying to remember. Death Racers, I think, is what we're calling them now. And we're trying to be careful with the death word. Apparently, that's getting tagged and flagged and all that happy stuff. But Death Racers, we're going to have them again at Earth. We're expecting like probably 20 or 30 of them to show up. It's going to be, we had maybe 7, I think, at Murph. I can't remember, but all of them broke. I'm pretty sure all of them went home broken. It was maybe not Tripod. Tripod did not go home broken. But we have a big one coming on. Sam's going to join us. We're going to talk about Earth. He's coming over. And then we're going to have a bunch of fun at Earth. So we'll make sure we get some footage for that. The 10th, I'm not sure if we're going to have a show or not. We may do like a substitute show straight from Earth that weekend. We'll keep you posted on that. The 17th of October, we have ModBot. The 24th, we have Waltimus Prime, which is going to be awesome. The 31st, Devin from Make Anything. And then in November, we have Shane from Saber Bay, Aaron from Galactic Armory. We have just some awesome guests coming up. So check out HotMakes in the next couple months. But today, we have John. John, thank you so much for being on with us, man.
Yeah, it was a pleasure being here, man. It was nice talking to you again.
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks, man.
Yeah,
we'll have
3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks.
Yeah, we'll have to have a Coke when you get here.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll
definitely
take home less extra surprises from this one. A little easier on the recovery.
That would be nice.
Before we go too far, let everybody know, like, one more time, who you are, what you do, where we can find you, most importantly, where we can find you.
Yeah. I'm John from Proper Printing, and I make YouTube videos about my ideas, experiments, and inventions, and whatever comes to mind, I will showcase it, and we don't know from the start how it will end up, and that's part of the journey and part of the fun. Sometimes it goes right, sometimes it fails, and that's. I'm not afraid to show the failures. It's a part of the process. If you don't fail, then you haven't tried hard enough. So that's basically the motto. And with that, we will just stretch the boundaries of what's possible with 3D printing and explore its possibilities. So that's in a nutshell what I try to do on the channel.
Well, your videos are awesome. We can find you on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all the things, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
we'll
not on TikTok. I've tried a TikTok once, but I got banned on TikTok. But it was dangerous activities.
Banned on TikTok. Real quick, I have one more thing before we go for you. You know what? Let me think about it. I'm going to play it right after the outro. Just stay right there. Don't go anywhere, John. Okay. We'll be right back with you. Everybody else, thank you guys so much for being here every Monday. We really appreciate the time. Man, thank you. We'll be here again next week. And hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you later. See you later, everybody.
106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.